Welcome back, YouTube. So in this video, we're going to do a price update. Everything that we've talked about over the last few videos, as far as for like the price points and those major points of resistance, where Dogecoin gets liquidity, all of those things have been holding up it perfectly. We can't ask for a better example here than what we've seen. But ultimately, those numbers still stand as far as for what we need to hit in order to have that breakout. So, as far as for the breakout, if you haven't gotten it by the title of the video, I'm talking about that 42 cents. We were looking to close above that 42 cents mark because that puts us in the uh, as far as for giving us the strength and giving us the right trajectory so that we can go and retest around that 48 cents mark to challenge the current cycle high for Dogecoin. And of course, we did get the price action above it, but we did not have the strength to close above it. But on the positive side, the market where we're talking around that 30 cents, since the what is this? As a matter of fact, this has remained a gap zone from November 11th of last year, and we're still seeing very similar price action. But overall, this has held up as a pool of liquidity for Dogecoin, and it's been very successful. We've seen that we did, in fact, close a little bit down as far as for the 27th compared to the 26th. But look at that price action. This is a very active pool of liquidity for Dogecoin. You can see evidence of this back on the 13th of January. You can see evidence of this on the 20th of December, the 21st of December. So we're still holding there, and of course that we're looking for some indications of to have like that breakout. Typically, every time we break above around that 33-34 cents mark, we have that run, and then we go and try and retest. But for right now, this is going to be the zone for Dogecoin, and it's also something that we've been watching here. We're talking about the possibility of us trending parallel to the 72-day average, and then getting that break above it to kind of get that golden cross at a very high level. Because if we get a golden cross here, this is a huge indicator like we were talking about in the last video as far as for getting these indicators to co-witness. This would be a very big indicator getting one this high, because we haven't had the last golden cross we've had was with the 14 dip below the 72 here, but we're talking about back here in November of last year. And if we're talking about the 14 crossing the 72, we haven't seen that since September, right? And Dogecoin was around 10 cents at that time, right? So we've seen over 400% at the peak, almost 500% since the last time we saw a 1472 golden cross, right? So this is something that we're going to be monitoring here, because getting a golden cross here, especially at this top level of fib, it's going to be very important to align that with some of the other indicators that we have to see if we can get some confirming evidence to get that breakout here for Dogecoin. But overall, this is the levels that we're looking at. We're looking at to close above that 33 cents mark, and ultimately go and retest around that 42 cents. So this is a part of the cycle here, and when you kind of get stuck in like that window of liquidity versus breakout, and you keep ping ponging around, and this is the part where people typically you'll see people like lose interest, so they'll take their eye off of it, and then when it booms, you'll see the attention span go back. So this is the part of or the unattractive part of investing here. People typically say, "Oh, we don't think it's going to run," or well, you'll see typically like the comments, "Oh, wake me when it runs," and things. These are some of the things that, yes, you don't necessarily have to be stargazing at it every day, but these are the points that, until we get that strength, that's going to be the indicators that we need in order to kind of go and retest. So a break above, even if you want to set alerts, like if you depending on which app you're using, if you want to set alerts, set an alert for 34 cents, set an alert for 42 cents. Say, hey, alert me when we break above this, alert me when we break below 30 cents, right? And then you can kind of monitor this on your own time when you're getting these alerts to see, hey, are we hitting my threshold? Is this something I need to start paying attention to if I wanted to get in additional position? So let's say that 30 cents mark. If you're able to catch it at 30 cents and you've been able to do that successfully, I'll say anytime since November, you were able to turn a profit relatively quickly, right? Even if it's for swing traders, they're able to, because the bounce here from this pool of liquidity has held up extremely well over the last few months. So these are going to be like the points that you're going to be looking for to kind of get like an idea before we run and test some of those higher levels. And you'll see this across the board. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about is obviously getting some of the macro events to kind of align. Obviously, whether or not banks are going to be hold, that was a hot topic today. It's getting some of that, how much institutional money is going to be allocated to coming inside of crypto, whether or not they're going to be constructed inside of ETFs, and all that kind of falls under the institutional allocation umbrella. But it's going to be something that's very important to kind of monitor here. And what we're going to need is for Bitcoin, and we can kind of put this in like the macro section, is we're going to need for Bitcoin to break above its all-time high and hold, right? That's going to be another one of those co-witnessing factors that we talked about. We've seen it break, but these push downs and these sell-offs here, that's not going to be enough to get conviction here for the market to signal up or to signal another leg up. So we're not quite there yet. And the same thing that we were talking about with Doge, we're looking for strength in order to kind of declare like that next move up. We haven't collapsed the 14 below the 72, which I think is great. We were inside this channel here, kind of using the 72 as support for a few days, and then we're able to kind of get above it. And now we have like a widening of the gap. And even here back on the 27th, we still use that 72 for support. So if we're rising to 72 and trending along with the 14, but when we need that extra liquidity, people are comfortable buying Bitcoin at around the 72-day moving average. That's absolutely fine. I think that this is going to be one of the things that we're going to have to watch here is when we're getting these breaks above, like the 107 mark, the 105 mark, and we start closing there, because a lot of times people confuse these daily highs with where the candles are actually closing at, because it'll run to 107 and then get pushed down to 102. And they're like, hey, what's going on with the movement? Where's the liquidity going? Well, it's sold off from 107. And we're not getting convicting evidence here that the market is going to go to the upside. So these are things that we're going to have to monitor here. So we're looking for conviction in some of these movements. We need conviction for Doge to break above 42 cents, not just run there. We're going to have to close above there. We need Bitcoin closing at or around 107,000 before we're saying, hey, okay, now we have the momentum and the strength. Let's see if we're going to break above this and hold, and then we can say, oh, we're off until the next leg of the cycle here. But until then, we're just going to keep running and retesting. Same thing that I said with Dogecoin. Start setting some alerts here. If it falls below 100,000, it's been proven this cycle here that it recovered relatively quickly, and it's been quite lucrative for traders. They love buying it when it collapses below 100,000, then it runs back up. Same thing on the upside here. If you want to say, hey, if Bitcoin breaks above, it starts with setting indicators inside of your app, breaks above 105,000, let me know, right? And I can start, gauging my position here, turning things on, start, stargazing, or even if you just kind of want to chart it along with me. These would be great things that if you're not going to necessarily pay attention to it every day, but sometimes you'll have those periods where it's just literally doing like a ping pong tennis action type, and it's going to do that for several days in a row. So it's not the exciting part. You may have a few days or maybe even a week or so where things look quite boring, and it's fine. Not everything is straight up or straight down, and I know that you'll see this on YouTube and social media a lot. You'll see a lot of the captivating titles, and oh, this right here is happening right here, and then to grab attention. But in reality, things are just moving sideways for the next few days until we get a deciding factor as far as foreign strength and trend, and then we'll break one direction or the other, right? So that's kind of where we are now. Is we're in that period here where we're looking to see the strength of the overall movement and decide which direction are we going to break. Are we going to need more liquidity to go up, or are we just waiting as far as we have the liquidity here, and we're just waiting on a macro event here, and then boom, we're off to the races. So just kind of keep that in mind. We're looking at these assets overall. We're in a great place. We're not seeing Anything abnormal, huge percentage sell-offs or blowing through pools of liquidity, a radical price movement with candles. We're not seeing any of those things, so we're in a great place. So don't let any of the hype news, especially the things that you're seeing on X, kind of scare you about these movements being over. We're in a great place here, and we're going to keep monitoring it as we go forward to kind of get like an idea of what we're doing. So anyway, set your indications. We're looking for 42 cents for Dogecoin, especially closing above it, not just hitting it in a day and then getting pushed down, and certainly at or around 107,000 for Bitcoin. So let me know if you enjoy this price update, as far especially for Dogecoin. Like and share the video with a friend. Thank you, and I will see you guys in the next video.